Good afternoon and good evening. Wherever you joining us all over the world, you're welcome to Managing Projects Without Tears. On a very quick note, starting a topic with very interesting topic, enhancing communication using AI as AI-driven communication in project teams. So it's consortium of different areas, AI, communication, project team. But to do justice, we have our guest, Kazim Jalili, who is going to take up this topic. Thank you so much. Welcome on stage, Kazim.
All right, thank you so much for having me. Today, we are going to be looking at enhanced communications, AI driven communication in project teams. Communication is key to project managing projects. Every project manager, uh, program managers, or portfolio managers will know that communication is key, either to the team or to the stakeholders. Whatever you do on project site, you should have the flexibility to communicate effectively to your team, to your back office, PMO, to the stakeholders, to the locals. We call them in environmental parlance, we call them uh, local security. Okay. Uh, let's not use that to digress. We're gonna hit the ground running now. Today we're going to be looking at enhanced communication, AI-driven communication in project teams. And quickly, what are we going to look at to discuss? What to discuss? We look at the importance of collaboration. Communication is about collaboration, basically. We look at the challenges of the traditional communication methods that we are used to. We look at the need for enhanced communication, because the bottom line, if we're looking at application of AI in enhancing communication, we must have a need for it. You know, we've been communicating over time, and at this time, I think we can do it better. And this is why we're looking at AI angle to be able to use it to communicate effectively. So all this we're going to look at quickly. I hope we're able to exhaust all our slides for today. If we cannot, we can continue the following week. That's not a problem at all. Right. By way of introduction, I'm looking at importance first of collaboration in project teams. We will basically agree that one of the key importance is fostering effective communication. I mean, if we want to collaborate, its importance, one of them is to be able to foster effective communication. And if we look at the dynamics of project these days, we know that communication is a lifeblood that ensures everyone is on the same page. I mean, if I head the electrical team on site, and the person who heads the say the civil engineering, the builders team on site, if we don't work together, if we're not able to communicate and work together and collaborate, there's always this hitch we always run into on the job. I mean, every department on site, all team members should be able to communicate effectively. It has to be clear, it has to be open, and this obviously will establish a foundation for understanding all the goals. Because the truth is, we all have a goal, right, to deliver this project, right, within timelines. And we all have individual responsibilities. So if we don't connect by way of communication, we won't be able to foster that relationship effectively. Another reason is leveraging diverse skill sets. You will agree that in a project side, we got teams, we got different members of the team. They got different skills from different backgrounds and different expertise. All this energy of all of us, all this energy, effective collaboration via communication will harness all this energy and we'll be able to put this together to deliver what we have ahead of us. Another reason is enhancing team morale and engagement. Collaboration in teams will foster a sense of belonging and collective purpose among members. If in a meeting, we have a meeting and all the head of each department on site are in the meeting, right? They get information from their team members, bring it into the meeting and pass it over back to the members and say, hey, do you know if after the meeting and you walk back to your team members and say, do you know that information you passed to me? Do you know that suggestions made is been accepted by the team? What do you think that person will feel like? It will feel a sense of belonging that yes, I'm able to make my input, and the morale will be high. Yes, he will want to do more, no doubt about that. Okay, so that's a key part of having to collaborate.
Sorry,
members.
Before moving to the next slide, as you're joining, kindly drop your comments where you're joining from. For instance, hi, my name is Timothy. I'm joining from the UK. All right, so let's collaborate. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that. Another reason is it's encouraging knowledge sharing. I mean, if each member of the team got their skill set, and when they know that you are ready to listen as a project manager, you're ready to listen as a program manager, they will be happy to actively share their expertise and experiences and insights. And this eventually will create a continuous learning environment for all of us. I've learned a lot while on site from team members who have done that kind of project in the past. They will tell you, listen, project manager, I've done similar thing in the past, and this is how we did it. You are not a know-all person. It's nature. You can't know all by nature. All right? And you can only know, you can't know beyond what you've experienced or what you've learned or what you've read about. Some people, they've done this thing over time. And they will tell you, if you go this way, it's not going to work. This is how it's been done. At least the one I've participated in the past. This is how we did it. And if you try that, and most of the times it works because this is something they've been doing over time. So it encourages knowledge sharing if we're able to collaborate. Another reason is streamlining problem solving. Invariably, project encounter unexpected challenges everywhere on site. Some things will just pop up. And by the time we collaborate as a team, set up a meeting, let's discuss this. What do we do? Skill sets, experiences will be coming in. Oh, this is how I think it should be done. Because, challenges on site it's not something you can rule out. It comes up every now and then. Okay? And the ability of the team to come together to solve it, that's how you progress. Okay? Another reason is achieving project success. At the end of the day, ultimately, the combination of this effective communication, knowledge sharing, active participation, problem solving, streamlining decision making, all together contributes to overall project success. All right? But if you miss any of this part, you're going to miss the part that will enhance your project success, because all this has to work together. Okay? Then let's look at challenges in traditional communication methods. Because The idea of about communication is to enhance collaboration, right? It enhances, at the end of the day, what you want to achieve is this project goal. We are going to work together as a team to deliver it, to achieve it. We have this timeline. We have to meet the timeline. We have this cost. We can't run beyond this cost. We have all this risk. Yes, we need to face them. All right. Now let's look at the traditional challenges. The challenges in traditional communication. Time zone. I've had to do some couple of training with some people in Australia recently. And when they set up time, I'll have to now convert their time zone to mine. Or when I set up my own time, they will have to convert to their time zone. Like, for example, now back home in my proud Africa, somewhere, one of the African countries where I'm proudly from, Nigeria, the UK, the time zone is different now. We're 1 hour behind. If I set up time for 4 o'clock here, it's going to be 5 o'clock. No, it's only 3 o'clock in Nigeria, right? So if we set up time for 5 o'clock, it's going to be 4 o'clock in Nigeria. So time zone is an issue. And in globalized work environment, team members may be spread across different geographical regions, leading to varying working hours. The time I'm sleeping, you want to set up a meeting when I'm sleeping. How does that work? Unless otherwise, it's been arranged that, hey, all over the world, we've agreed that this is the time we're going to have our meeting. And I mean, whoever that fall between a sleeping time, got no choice. But we've had situations where the timing falls into my sleeping time. One of the guys from Australia the other day lashed out at me and said, hey, man, I can't give you my sleeping time and I can't force it. And this, in a way, delay information sharing. I've had a situation where I sent an email on an urgent situation on site. We need to deliver a particular part of the software. And the guy on the other side saw the message the following morning when he woke up. And already the software was already alive. We were having hitches. Okay. We can't even stop putting that software alive. But that part of the software has to be attended to by a particular member of the team who was already sleeping at the time. And I sent an urgent email. He didn't see it in the following morning. There's nothing I could do about it. I mean, he's not going to be sorry. He was sleeping. He didn't know. There's nothing he could do. I can't try reaching out to him via messages, calls. He wasn't picking because apparently he must have silenced the phone and put it aside. So that alone can impact overall efficiency or the progress or the decision making of how we communicate. Okay? So that's a challenge on its own. Traditional communication, time zone is a challenge. All right? Language barrier. I've seen people sign a contract in different language they don't understand. Just happened to me in the past. I look at the papers. I say, listen, I can't sign this because I don't even understand I can't put my blood on it. Back in the day when I was at the bank, we regard our signature as our blood. So when you're putting your blood on paper, you know that, yes, you got to be sure what you're doing. Right? So language barrier is an issue. People in Asia, they believe in their language. They want to do business in their language. They don't care where you're coming from. Is that how you deal or you walk? Some people have been forced to sign contracts in a different language. And at the end of the day, this is apparently a communication challenge because you don't even know what you're putting your blood on. And this, at the end of it, could lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and potential conflict in the near future. And I will head to the court and say, hey, you practically forced me to do this because I don't even understand what I'm signing. It could be rosy at start, but by the time you see the manifestation of this contract, and you now realize, oh, I've shot myself in the foot. So language barrier is a traditional communication issue. All right. Another challenge is need for real-time updates. For traditional communication method, it often lacks immediate require for real-time updates. Email exchanges, for example, I send an email, it drops on the other side. I make a call, it drops on the other side. I schedule a meeting. There's always one way or the other. Maybe there's a delay in disseminating this critical information. Maybe there's a delay. You put a call through to someone and you couldn't get through. And you need an update. You need to feed back. You need to feed the governance body. You need to pass an information to the governance body. And the software engineer you have on the other side, you can reach out. You send an email, you couldn't deliver. Or he delivered, the guy on the other side has refused to send you an update. These are traditional issues about communication that we are used to. It happens every day. People sometimes may have to struggle to provide the level of immediacy demanded by dynamic project scenarios. A couple of scenarios where you need immediate intervention, you need immediate response, but it never comes. Okay? Another issue is limited collaboration tools. I mean, if by chance you send an email, it didn't deliver, what do you do next? You made a phone call, you couldn't connect. What do you do next? There's no other tool to use. You just have to wait till you get a response. There's no tool to brainstorm. We have a session. I have a team in Dubai. I have another team in Kenya. I have another team in South Africa. Like I developed a market for a company in the past. The company I presently manage their product in Nigeria. I developed all the African region, right? I registered that of South Africa, the company in South Africa. I did that of I couldn't do Kenya. I did South Africa, I did Nigeria, I did 2 other African countries. I remember now. I did Zimbabwe, and I did so this other country again. Oh my God. Gambia, right? So I did all that. And I mean, the team in Gambia, the team in Zim, the team in South Africa, sometimes we have to collaborate and make meeting and brainstorm. Okay, what's working on your end? What's the price we can put forward in your own country? What's selling? What part of this product are we going to sell? We brainstorm, we document, brainstorm session. But if we don't have a tool to do this brainstorming together, we're going to lack. We can move forward. These are traditional issues about communication, no collaboration tools. Recently, we've had Jira that software engineers used to put documents in. You do your part of the software, you put it in, it comes as a whole. Before, we don't have Jira. But Jira is working now as a collaboration tool. Another issue I want to mention again is document challenges, is maintaining comprehensive documentation for project continuity. We don't have that in traditional communication. Email exchanges may result in scattered information across multiple threads, making it challenging to consolidate and organize project-related documents. Okay? These are traditional issues about communication and collaboration. Okay? Now, we've seen the need, we've seen the challenges. Now, another issue is inefficient meeting scheduling. I mean, you can't schedule a meeting. Just a click of a button, you should be able to schedule a meeting than having to write a letter or send an email that nobody will ever see at the end of the day. Another challenge is limited accessibility. These are issues about traditional communication. Now, there's a way out. We have AI systems that can
Sorry,
help.
before we even go into the way out, it's very interesting to note that um, you have really articulated, a very important point there, especially looking at efficiencies. There
Yeah,
are certain things
efficiencies. Yeah.
that do not require meetings. I remember having to work on a World Bank project, and most of the software developers find it, problematic, challenging to attend meetings because they want to get their hands dirty. They want to get this in things solved. Most is, technical guys could have that kind of traits. AI solutions could itemize certain action items from the previous meetings that has not been solved, and the software or other team members could contribute even wide working, and there may not be need for meetings. There are certain
Exactly.
time where there is no need for meeting.
For meetings. Yeah. That's
You know,
correct.
you
Yeah,
just
you're
you
right.
just find scheduling of meetings. Not even the fact that there's no that tool. Some tool exist, but at the end of the day, you find out that some tools are limited in action items, drilling down action items, and getting to read the minute of the meeting again, rather than use that short time, because the tool has been able to help with the challenges. As you go on, I'll just chip in some of those areas that I find very,
Yeah, this is
yeah.
very, very interesting. I mean, those of us who have been part of Project A, Project B, Project C, we've had experiences. We know what's been happening. We know how we've been managing it. We know how AI has been helped to push this forward. And we are glad to, I mean, get on with it. We're not going back. We're not going to go back. We need to move forward. And one of the applications I'm going to mention about what AI could do in project community is chatbots for instant communication. Chatbots. Now, for example, a scenario where in a project environment you have a chatbot, say you name it Project Bot, and it's integrated into the team's communication platform. Team members can interact with Project Bot to quickly obtain information about project timelines, task assignments, general project updates. Project Bot, say for example, I just give it a name, Project Bot, utilizes natural language process to understand queries and respond promptly, providing instant support. For instance, user query will say, what is the deadline for task A? What is the deadline for task B? And the project bot chatbot will respond. The deadline for task A is Friday, 22nd October, 2023. Okay? And you ask another question, what's the deadline for task B? And it's going to answer you immediately. I'll tell you what, I had issues with my bank and I needed to speak to someone. I just went on their site, I look at their chat box, and I typed my name in. I put a comma. It didn't respond immediately. It didn't understand how that name projected to be having a comma in between all the names. So what is registered, what he expected to fetch on the system is the if you spell the whole name at a go, not putting a break or a comma or any sign in between. He saw the comma as something else. So not until I took off the comma and I put my whole full name. And he responded immediately and gave me the information I needed. Instantly. Instant communication.
I also I see light in what you've said. I remember, despite the fact that we have timeline on the cloud, you started from having on SharePoint, having on project management, automation systems, yet you still have um, team members who actually just wanted a line of the activity, and they wanted
Yeah.
to know the timeline, and they want to take up their phone, because there's no facility like chatbot, to call the project manager or the program manager who is in a project management meeting.
Meeting,
And there's that lag, there's that time lag. So this is a very beautiful solution to that issue. And oftentimes, even as project manager, you want to look at, or program manager, you want to drill down to a particular project as a program manager, because that is not your project. You are just managing the project managers, but you just need some information, and probably the project manager is not there, or you have you don't have access to the entire timeline for the program. You can just
or probably you've even sent an email, you didn't get the response
or probably
instantly, you know.
a lot of
A
situations
lot
can
of
just
reasons,
come
you
up.
know. Yeah.
Reasons can come up, or you are in the board meeting, for instance, and you want to talk about something happens, you just call for and you just wanted to look at that particular task or milestone, for instance. So sorry, let me log on, and you try to log on, probably there's an internet issue or some whatever. You talk to a system that can quickly fetch, and that can be across the entire portfolio, and this is very good. Beyond the phase, beyond the task, it can be the milestone, it can be the phase gates between projects, it can be kickoff time, it can be the support phase, it can be anything. And of course, we know once there's bottleneck around communication, the project fails. So these are reasons why we manage projects, and we cry. Managing project without tears is to make sure that we're effective, when it comes to project management. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the input. I mean, the tools are there. ChatGPT can help you create a chat box. Dialogflow by Google can help you create a chat box. Microsoft bot frameworks can help you design one. IBM Watson Assistant is another one that can help. If you are not software oriented, I mean, you could talk to your office and say, "Oh, let's get this in, and let it help enhance communication during our projects." That is achievable. People have been using it and they've been moving on with it. Another one I'm going to mention is sentiment analysis for team dynamics. Sometimes you see your staff not giving up to expectation. Maybe by chance, maybe their payment alert didn't come in early on that day. It happens. Maybe there's an incident on site. I recall when we were building Polo Park Mall, we had that was the only incident. A beam collapsed and landed on the head of one of the building team member. He was taken to the hospital right from there. We didn't lose him eventually. He was alive. But on that day, you could see the fear from other members. You could see the sentiment. You could see their morale coming down. They don't even want to go close to where that beam is. Okay? So if we have a sentiment analysis for team members, an AI system that could assess the overall mood within the project team, it can help analyze the written communication, such as team messages. Sometimes you see even response from team members. It could help analyze and take out and be specific about the mood. The mood I'm getting from this communication is a morale booster, or the mood I'm getting from the communication of the team members is, a morale killer. I don't think they will be able to deliver today. We have that system running. People have been using it. Say, for example, it could help analyze written communication, like I said before. It could help analyze the messages and collaboration platform interactions. It could gauge the sentiment of the team members. It could detect consistently negative sentiments or a sudden shift from the team members. It could trigger an alert to project manager to investigate potential issues. It will look at the communication, will look at the response from team member, and could be able to gauge and say, hey, from what I'm seeing, the project manager have to do something regarding this. Okay. People have been using a product that's out there, sentiment analysis, a lot. Team sentiment has shown a significant decrease in positive over the past 1 week. Consider checking in with the team members. It's going to give an alert to the project manager and say the team sentiment has shown a significant decrease in positivity over the past 1 week. Say, for example, that kind of scenario I painted where a beam fell and hit the members communicating at that time, they were just, the mood was were really, really low on that day. We had to shut down at some point. We had to shut down the site. But to be fair, I must confess, this system was not in existence at that time. Or I would say, we don't have the flexibility to use it at that time. But of course, we noticed the morale and we shut down the site. But if we have this system running, the moment it picks the morale, it could send an alert to the project manager and say, hey, listen, the morale I'm getting is not positive. You need to check in with the team members. You need to do this, you need to do that, and maintain positive work environment.
I think we need to expatiate this and possibly stop on this sentiment analysis for today, if possible, because you've really trained us to a realm that we need to bring use cases. You cited an example of, is it a member of the workforce
building team? Yeah, a member of the building team.
Team. And I want to imagine at that time where it was, and if even the risk, and the safety of his of the entire work, the risk about his life and the work as it is. So I want to imagine how he was able to get quick response, and I want to also imagine how that was communicated, and going down to the rest of the team. I want to imagine at what time was the project or program or portfolio able to intervene, looking at the morale, people who have been gisting, talking, and all of a sudden dropped. Now that there's no system in place, humanly speaking, how was the HR or the site manager able to at that time? Let's look at that case study, then also now look at it vis-a-vis what happens in a traditional sector, where you have HR and they're not able to sense quickly the morale of the team members before I use the word some people might not have. There's a word out there for my audience. It's called JAPA, Japa, right there in the African setting. Okay, for you know more than a year or 2 3 years now, organizations could not quickly sense that external forces, political forces, the sentiment of workers, as a matter of fact, top professionals that
Moving,
are already moving,
moving
as
in
flying,
multitude.
flying. And before you know it, we had times where we talk about capital flights by virtue of not having local content, building up frameworks to help the local content. As I'm talking about national financial security or economic security, as national at that portfolio level. Now, coming to it's so broad, because you talk about sentiment analysis even from the project level. Now looking at as a nation, national, how,
Yeah.
as a country, she's unable to recognize quickly that something urgent needs to be done politically. I've left the organization, right? As an organization, that needs to be professional. That it didn't happen. So there's a lot of I was looking for a project manager just 2 weeks ago. Somebody linked up to me and say, okay, can you help provide a project manager? And I went within the same sector that I did work. And to be honest, someone, oh God, you have so much of demand than you have so much of supply even then, and the demand almost balancing each other, and if not even more than if not more than each other now. But as we speak, I find out that even for me to forward a CV, I look at it and this is something that's happened. There's a lot of shifts, meaning that as a nation, we could not do something I usually call the risk around knowledge management. Okay, so that is very essential, assuming there is an AI too. So let's start from the scenario where
Yeah.
and look at the traditional vis-a-vis the the current
The
AI
enhanced, yeah, the enhanced part.
enhanced part.
On that day, I mean, incident happened. That happened on site, and before you know it, every team member who are working in that department suddenly have this fear within them, and they could not do
Wow.
anything. And before you know it, the news trickled down to every other department. Sometimes they want to even hear what the management is going to do for this fella who just fell on site.
Oh my
So
God.
that because they know that, I mean, it could be you, it could be me, it could be anyone.
Exactly.
Okay, what is the company is going to do? They want to know. They were just talking. Before you know it, there's nothing anybody could actually do on site. Eventually, we had to close down the site for that day. Now,
So
imagine
time lag.
time lag. We lost
Cost.
cost. We
Cost.
lost
you know,
risk. Is
risk,
and even
procurement, supply chain.
if
Oh my God.
even
A lot of
going
stuff.
around the town, that locality, the information filters out quickly, and people, I was getting a call from everywhere.
Oh my
What
God.
happened on your side? What happened on your side? I heard somebody died. I heard somebody died.
Oh my God.
You see how he could turn around to be something that
Ripple
could even
effect.
the government,
Hmm.
the government had to place a call to the owner of that project, the same man who owned the Palms, Lekki, and say, hey, listen, I heard there's an incident in your site. Of course, the moment that man quickly jumped in and said, hey, we're managing it.
Mm.
We're managing it. And the truth is, at that time, the staff are already off. Nobody is willing to do anything again on that
Oh
side
my God.
because it trickled down to the fact that, hey, maybe the safety issue,
Mm.
you know, safety issue, how in the world will a beam fall on someone in a
Mm.
project of that magnitude,
Mm.
you know? So, but if at that instant we have this system running,
You can put to control
we can put a control
before it
sentiment analysis
escalates.
before we quickly run a sentiment analysis, and we quickly put information forward to even those who don't know what happened. Yes,
Mm.
this has happened. This is what the consultant is doing about it. This is what the government is doing about. This is what the HR is doing about it. This is what the team, the site has been shut down for everyone. You know, we send out that information to everyone that is expected to get information.
Sorry,
Even
sorry for cutting in. Audience, in a world where we have misinformation. In the UK, the Prime Minister, Sunak, emphasized that there's need to establish safety. Looking at the political, looking at institutional safety when it comes to AI, looking at safety when it comes to national security, and went up with very wisdomatic approach, establishing a Institute of Safety. Imagine such kind of initiative coming to what you discussed, talking about assuming there is an enhanced system. Okay. Now, what that means is one way or the other, it could have led to another risk of regulatory risk for projects that required stringent regulatory when it comes to safety, would have shut down that project completely.
completely, yeah.
Looking at mining project, for instance, it could have just be off completely. Now, we can't but stop here today. We're going to take other aspect of this sentiment analysis, and subsequently, hopefully next week, we will be able to talk extensively about this topic. There is a place I stopped when I was talking about AI Institute of Safety, setting up AI safety by virtue of just ensuring that we manage misinformation. So if you have systems out there that is trying to cause misinformation, you have system internally, AI system internally, to be able to mitigate the AI system outside, outside of the organization. I mean, that would cause a serious problem when it comes to misinformation. Organizations developing AI tools right now are building up mitigation strategies to make sure that there's that confidentiality, when there's that integrity of data, and that data is available as and when due. Because AI systems, you give the right tool in the hands of the wrong person, he uses it wrongly for a terrible objective. So we're going to discuss much better. Much more. This is a very beautiful topic. Thank you so much, my very good friend. I really appreciate this. I hope to connect next week by the grace of God. Drop your
All right.
comment
Drop your
and
comments. Let's discuss offline.
let's discuss
Let's
offline.
discuss offline. I will take it again next week. See you guys next week. I'll be happy to see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.